Okay, looks like we're live. How are you? How are you?
How are you? How are you?
Yeah, it's working. Sometimes it takes forever to get on live. Anyway, welcome and greetings from everybody here at the Dark Radio Network Project. We appreciate you. This is basically the American Disclosure Uncensored format. Oh, we already got a thumb up. That's appreciated. Thank you so much. So from the East Coast to the West Coast and into the dimensions, and that's what Sunday is sort of all about. Let's open this door to the vault, crush lies, expose the truths, and speak on some theory. Hi, Denise. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Beth. Hi. Yeah, so you guys are in already. Hello. I see you. I got a little monitor up tonight. Got the light a little low too. Don't judge me. It's this thing right here. Well, to you guys, well, whatever. I know which one it is, but to you, it's in reverse. But nevertheless, it's all good. So we got 4 people in already. Wow, that was a quick jump. Usually I have to wait 5 minutes to see anybody. Maybe there's not a lot of people on tonight, and that's fine. The views will be what they are. Wayne Ray, how are you, brother? Hopefully my eyes are working properly. Thumbs up to all you guys for jumping in here. Appreciate it. So I get a lot of questions. I've been doing Bigfoot things. I've been doing UFO things. Lots of politics, lots of anger, America in crisis. And beep. Yes, I know already. I'm sorry there's no... I'll have to try to make that work. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Randy J. How are you? Thanks for looking in, guys. I appreciate it. This is the Dark Radio Network Project, but Sundays it's surrounded with the America Disclosing Uncensored format. It's a little bit different. We talk about anything. You can be the topic. You can take the run. And good evening to you, everyone. As Eddie Parker, hello. How are you? You guys can lead the way. I wanted to do something with you guys to be personal, to reach out direct from this format into your minds. But there's a couple things here, and I am going to go off base a little bit on some of the other narrative things that I talk about. If you read the title, you see what I mean by that. SAV. I've been asked this week, so I want to bring this up. This has to do with Elon Musk and a very small, simplified company that he deals with. He's been giving out formats of contracts to the little people. And look into SAV because there's billions and trillions of dollars being invested into it. And they're opening a format for anybody who is willing to look at some stock and create some revenues. And we are going into these steps of the future. So to me, I know it's like a Hunger Game. If anybody in life says they don't want to do better, we'd all be lying. We do have to look out for our own pocketbooks in America right now, of course, and with what's going on. Not everybody can do this, but do your homework into SAV. It's stepping into the future. I know I always say technology, when is it too much? And it's thrown in our face where we see that it's already been too much, and history may actually have big examples all around the earth of what has been too much, way before our lives and probably way after. However, technology is going to be important key methods, and this seems like a really safe bet, and I'm pushing it for that reason. It's better than gold, so I'm just letting you know as far as how that works. But welcome in to all you guys. I appreciate it. All right, so I thought I'd do some Bigfoot stories, listen to you guys vent. If you got some bitching and complaining to do and the world's just pissing you off, I get it. I'm sitting with you on it. Forget about the potty mouth. I'm not being real, but just speaking in terms of reference of life, UFOs and more. So I these are things and topics that I do touch base into. Anyway, I promised somebody I'd share into something tonight. So let me just do that real quick. I don't know how to do that from this mini thing, but I'm gonna try it. Oh, okay. It doesn't do it like that. Oh, it does do it like that. Hey, I'm still learning here. I I'm still learning here. I really am. Just give me a second. All right, what do I do? All right, just hit this. Okay. I'm with you. See if it comes up. Yeah, it did. Okay. So I promised I'd share that out this evening to somebody. Hey, 10 people. That's wonderful, man. That's mind blowing. So, hey, look, there's a huge fascination out there about out of body experiences and more. Um, it's one of the greatest wonders of all, if you think about it. I've often thought about it. What is it like, this afterlife, you know? And then you have stories where, there's like some people seeing loved ones in them. They have accidents, they're in the hospital, they're laying on a gurney, being worked on. Suddenly they're out of their body and they have these experiences. And these experiences are actually, are they stories, myths, or truths? But it seems that they can actually clarify. And I mean, clarify everything that was going on in the room as they watched. So there has to be something significant, you would think, right? They also claim that there's a heightened sense of emotion. So even though we live in mind and body and soul in this thing, um, but when our spirit body separates from us in those last moments or just temporary moments of life, then it seems that there's something different and it has credibility. There's even videos that basically see like other orbs and effects of lights, even on cameras or some type of ghostly apparition, because there are cameras in emergency rooms and more. And they're picking this up a lot more than what people really tend to believe. I'm not saying that I want you to believe it. I'm just saying that these are things that are out there that are now being proven and in facts in many ways. And I'm just fascinated about it because I'm hoping I can go to wherever it is and go fish and play guitar and and again, they also claim that there's a separation of guilt and thought and value. Like you immediately are in a frame of mind where no longer does anything have an importancy to it except for the fact of where you are in that moment in time. Many people don't want to return back. Some are suggested that they need to, others, they're just reluctant to go there. They're not ready to go there. And in some cases, they return. This is where the stories lie. And I just find it really fascinating. Someone asked me why I don't talk about it more. Well, I hope I have right now, letting you know this. I also want to let you know the deeper side of this in a way, because not all stories have been good. Some are flowered fields and light. Excuse me, seeing loved ones and not even so much seeing them, but just the connection to them and some type of observation that they have of communication. All the thoughts from the loved ones filtrate into the ones who are just arriving. So it's like a telepathic form of communication. The strangest part is, and I always thought in my mind, if this is anything, it must be so much like a dream. The third eye is that other part of the life. And that is how we visual everything. And I just guess because I've never experienced it. However, I do know someone, And I have talked to them, and they're willing to come on to talk with me about their experience. It's not real lengthy, but I'm going to do a segment where I do bring them in and I'll let you hear it from their own words of their own experience. And I just thought that would be really cool because we get into all these other. I'm hoping it goes at least an hour with a lot of great interest. The story's not that long, it truly isn't. But again, it's something to me that I think people have a lot of interest in because, as we know, we're in a cycle of once we're a child and we have a parent, then we become an adult and they become a grandparent. In some cases, they never do. But it's this cycle where we come, they go, and then we return. And sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Some people say they didn't even see family. Some, for the most part, say that they do. So it's a very spiritual experience for people. And one of the things that I think they find out while they're there is it's a sense of pure love, light, um, purity. And that's, I can only say that way from the explanations and some of the stories. So, that being said, we're going to get into that more and try to focus on it. But remember, there is a vastness of darkness. Some don't see the light, whether it's their own preparation in their mind, being a disbeliever, or maybe they just done something so horribly horrific in their life that they have to face a different type of scenario. I hope to gosh I don't have to do that. Hey, Dave Walker's in the room. I'm going to just say a quick hello. Nancy's still here. Denise, Dave Walker's watching. Hey, Dave, how are you? Everybody's up. 19, 20 people. Hey, greatness. Thank you. I'll tell you another thing is pretty fascinating out there that I find fascinating. And I got a whole I this holds a lot of water for me. These child psychics. I mean, they're phenomenal. They truly are. And there's shows out there on this stuff. And I'm sorry. Reality show, call it whatever. I'm sorry. No, these children aren't lying. They're dealing with this, dealing with something. And they have communication and telepathic type skills. They hear, they see, and they just know. They're working with police on cases, never being given information. Now, we're talking about very, very young children, and they start dealing with this type of thing at the ages of 5, 6, 7 years old, and sometimes more. But you have to check this out. There's some really good people out there who are giving them support and trying to lead them in a path of what they have, because some are very much terrified about the whole scenario and how to deal with it. They feel like, they're going to be a focus for the bullies to bother them in school and more. Me personally, that's a treasure, that a child has an ability to see beyond the fragment of this world into another dimension and have a communication source. And what we are learning with these children, in some cases, they're even better than some of the adults that are out there. And maybe in some ways, they're a lot more truthful about everything. They're very young. Keep that in mind. And I think it's something that we should all just look into, and these mysteries of the unknown. And they are mysteries of the unknown. There's no question about it. Hey, Chrissy's in the room. Hi, how are you? And I'm just going to send the wave back. And I guess, so anyway, a lot of still turmoil. Let's go to the politic end, a little bit of light news thing. I'm not going to hit it hard. Um, Washington State's bringing up some things about creating a narrative against people who are unvaxxed. And if you go into some of the group rooms, you'll be seeing posts on that for sure. So keep that in mind. And it's not a good scenario by any means. It truly isn't. I had some notes on the back here I wanted to just touch base with also. And then we're going to go into a couple things that got sent to me about Bigfoot and some paranormal and things like that. And I want to send hello to Dave Parker. Sometimes I work with him on Sundays, but if I get into politics, I feel like I'm, not, doing the best representation to all the rooms because I'm primarily looking at what you see when you read the title. Oh, this guy's talking about a topic that we like, and so forth. So, yeah, I'm trying to narrate and navigate the best I can to isolate things. And on Wednesdays, I'll be doing the Bigfoot story kind of thing. So I'll be sharing a lot of stories that have been posted or put out there that I've been following, and people have been following me, answering me on. And Pennsylvania is a really hot spot. And I want to talk a minute too, also about the skyquakes. Now, these just aren't here in PA, and some people are reporting just hearing them now. And I know I've been doing data control on them for quite some time, all through northern Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, up like if anybody knows about East 68, Brady's Bend area. They were over the Carn City mountain areas. I'm not joking. For the last few years, all the time. Now they're coming out with the excuses of what they are. And I mean, some of them are like sonic booms where you would think a plane would come through breaking the sound barrier. If anybody's been down in Florida visiting Disneyland and so forth, you hear these, and there's certain places they're only supposed to fly to break the sound barrier. Like no fly zones for these particular, but they're there. Something's going on. They're not really calling them that. But again, I call them skyquakes. And sometimes you'll feel the shelves rattle and things shake on your shelves. They're in your own home. That's how loud and more than loud, they cause a sense of earthly movement in some fashion. But I call them skyquakes. Some people are coming up with a different narrative. That was my narrative into them. Sonic booms and more. LMH was talking about it, if anybody knows Linda Howe, and she's a rock star. I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal praises to Linda for all the knowledge and everything that she's put out and pushed to everybody with those narratives. And she's a rock star at it. But, she's not in my area. And I could speak on this because I've been doing the data. Same with the Bigfoot and the UFOs, because what everybody seems to dig into here, and I'm not against any platform. I mean, as a matter of fact, I have respect for some people out there like Richard Dolan, and Jimmy Church, Little CG. How are you if you listen tonight? But the truth is, we're focusing on all these stories from so much in the past, and I think bringing the ones into the future, the ones that we know about. Like, did anybody see the video? There's a very good video out there of a military carrier, and it's made news in some shows, documentary shows, where the planes are coming in to land, on this big ship, and off to the right side is a UFO sitting there with shadow from the sunlight. You can see the presence of it all the way around. Now, the hype on it is, whose is it? Is it theirs? Meaning the others? Okay, that's the only way best to say it. Or is it ours? Is it our technology? Now, we know that there's been in the past other people that have talked about Aurora and some of these other crafts, but we also have heard leakers say that we work with other intelligences and we actually utilize them for some reason. I don't know what the exact reason is. Phil Schneider even talks about it in some of his lectures, who's no longer with us. He was an experiencer that had a very big war fight done in a tunnel. And by the way, Elon Musk and the SAV, that is underground highway systems. So I just want you to understand what people were reporting about DUNs and whatever you want to that these are actually nuclear explosions going off because they're conducting and making more highway transit tunnels and completing them. So I'm just putting that out there. See, there's things here under America Disclosing Uncensored that I try to navigate through truth and fact and how they fit and what's going on in government, document papers, money appropriations for what they're working. And they go around in a lot of these areas in a lot of ways. There's always been a fascination, if you think about it, of underground, under earth. I mean, have you not gone and watched a movie? And it's just pretty wild. I mean, people go into these and search for them, ancient underground temples and more. Everybody's looking for the great treasure, of course. But we're also looking for the answers to history of Earth, religion, and more, and conspiracy, facts, government proofs of what they spend our money on and how they hide it on us. Again, I'm trying not to go into politics, but these are facts of everything that I'm talking about. Why did they follow remote viewers? Because they can consciously give information. And why do they do DMT? Because these hallucinogenics actually heighten how a remote viewer can physically, astro project to a different place by thought. And they do it. Now, I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's really up there high. You would have to get into it, look at it, and try to understand it to know it. But again, this is all mysteries of unknown, without a doubt. But it's all has prudence. It all works and fits together in narrative. So I thought I'd bring that up as well tonight. I don't know, a little bit more on the politic thing about the old folks in the hospitals. It saddens me to know that, some of the care that's out there is just, it's devastating to hear what I hear, that they don't want to look at people. I mean, and not in a really, really good manner. They don't want to do it. And that saddens me. It really does. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Let me try to get myself unfroze here. It seems I got froze, and I seen there has been a couple responses, and I want to make sure I read them for you guys. Hey, my man Charlie, he's an experiencer. Truly. Charlie's seen some strange things in the sky in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is really a hotspot for everything. It's not a joke. We really are. We're being overlooked. Yes, there are. They have tunneled across the country, the aquifer and freshwater lake. Yeah. Well, they're actually depleting our freshwater systems. They really are, Denise. You're absolutely on the money there. And anytime they do this, and it's been happening. When you see a mystery on a show, like where a lake drains itself out of nowhere, it's because there's probably something going on underneath it, without a doubt. And people don't think logically, what could the government be doing that, but they're well aware of the disruptions they're making. They're well aware how to attack certain water sources, never being seen above ground doing it. They're well aware of how to control fires and create storms and more. And we're in the presence of how that's working and being manipulated right now. So just keep that in mind. Again, it fits the unknown, these mysteries of the unknown. And that's kind of like what tonight's about. Anybody have anything they want me to get into, or anything you guys want to say? Brother-in-law died, went to the dark. The story is very scary. Well, thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I've heard that same thing, that it's not always a bed of roses, Is it how we live, or a place of thought of fear when something happens to somebody and near death? I don't know. And again, astro projecting and more that keeps coming up, but it comes up and I talk about it because I get written on it, and I think everybody's voice matters. So that's why I try to talk about that part. But that was brought up again, and I had an experience even with it, and it was just so weird, but it was true. So are we able to see things, experience them, whether during our sleep? Is that a form of contact? When contact occurs, some people, some psychics, some mediums claim that the possibility is there for some. But again, I personally don't know. And I think we'll have to choose by evidence. The problem is evidence across the board is suppressed in many ways. And if you go into America Disclosing Uncensored, I'm trying to navigate through the topics of where the suppressions have been, post some of the best relative things that make the most important facts for you guys to look through. Please feel free to post on it. I try to keep the heavy political out of it because there's enough political in it, if you get my drift, because the drive of everything that I am exposing through posts, or because they have already been suppressed by the government and more. So I get you. But what's going on right now, we have groups and rooms for most of those answers. This navigation here is just a little bit different. It doesn't mean it's not important. Taking Back America should surely help anybody out. And Kimberly Ann is watching. I'm going to say hi to Kimberly Ann. And she's quite famous in Pittsburgh for her scary stories. She really is. And not only that, she has Classic Adventures, a ghost hunting thing, and has put some shows together. She did a show with me. I should post it for everybody to check it out into this group chat room. She's also an admin in here, but she's been MIA because she hasn't been feeling well. And she's getting better. She's getting better. Make sure I looked out for her. I'll say that. I did my best, okay? I'll leave it at that part there. But yeah, so these afterlife things and all these things in question, I hope I touch base in some of the ways that I could. I'm not an expert on these things, but I'm just as interested on every one of these narratives as you are. I truly am. All right, let me grab this out of here. I want to get to a couple things that were sent into me. Because to me, as I said, everybody's voice, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Joe, Crazy Joe. It doesn't matter if we're talking about him or if we're talking about, DJT. So it doesn't matter, but it all matters. It all does. So let me go into this here and see what I have, because I've been saving a few things to share with you guys for Sunday night, and now we're here. We're at it. I hope y'all had a great day outside of that. I also want to send out some prayers to a nice young lady that's come into the Warriors of the 10. She's going through some bad things, right now, and she's asked for everybody to kind of look out for her. Also want to let you guys know, The Real Truth is up now. Just a couple days later, 65,000 people. People are going crazy Bigfoot. I'm not joking, man. They really are going crazy Bigfoot. So the real truth is out there if you're willing to accept it, for sure. And, I get stories where people say they never had seen one, but they do feel positive that they're there. And I could read positive things like that, and I could do other things as well. But anyway, one of the stories was from Kenny Russell and the Bigfoot group, The Real Truth. Okay, I have never told this story before. When I was 17, me and a friend went camping near Flagstaff, Arizona. And while doing some night fishing, we heard a howl. At first, we thought it was coyotes, but then we heard a loud growl. We both have been in the outdoors our entire lives. We look at each other and ask, each other, is that the hairy man? And of course, it seems like Kenny says, I hope not, or I said, I hope so. So they continued to fish when large rocks began being thrown to them on the lake. We thought maybe it was somebody just being crazy throwing rocks, but when we shined our flashlights to the west, we saw two bright red eyes looking at us. I have always believed that they were real. My buddy believed and kept. I have to go into the kept part. Kept trying to tell me it was just an owl. I know better. I didn't know if they were aliens, apes, or some other species we don't know about, but I know that they are there. So a little story. I don't know where outside of Arizona, Flagstaff, what direct GPS coordinates as it was, but that was a short story narrative of a share that came through. And again, I ask some questions, and sometimes people post me their stories, and that's why I'm sharing a couple with you guys right now. We also had some Bigfoot prints discovered recently too, and that's been out there, and I know people were checking that stuff out. All right, let me see here. I kind of posted some of my stuff to put them aside. a lot of people were asking too, as well as me, to for people to post their stories. So here's one. This was posted Saturday night by Cindy. So last night around 9, I took my big girl dog outside, you know, so on. Had her on her leash. Once outside, she started growling and barking and didn't stray far back from the back porch and immediately wanted in. So I guess the dog was uncomfortable here, as she's sharing in her story. While it was cold outside in southeast Tennessee, you always hear different animals plus other dogs barking. But last night, everything was like very silent. I took her back in and took my little boy dog. I guess she has a little male dog companion as well out on his leash. He started doing the exact same thing, growling, barking towards the tree line. I was watching our tree line the whole time and I saw two huge green eyes. Now, there's something. In one case story, maybe the identification wasn't done well enough, but we hear about green eyes, we hear about red eyes, we also hear about color fur. But this is her story of what she saw: two huge green eyes staring at us. Needless to say, I took my dogs back inside. It's also mentioned that there are several tree structures on the property, and they plan on doing some investigation work. So I tried to narrate it, short clip it for you guys, so you kind of got it. So this is in southeast Tennessee. Someone just taking their dogs out. Um, Dogs are not comfortable with the scenario, and of course they have negative reactions about being outside. They don't even care to do their business. They just want in, and this is what Cindy saw. So another thing that's coming on. This is why I really enjoy this group, Bigfoot, the real truth. No wonder why there are 65,000 people are not afraid to express their experiences. Okay, now let me see what else I got here. So I want to let you guys know that Ohio is also reporting a lot of incidents of occurrences, where in the tree lines and so forth. Um, I got one report where they saw one go and run across the road, and it did it in two steps, two lane road, two steps, like one to the middle and then to the other, and was off the road. I don't know if anything can do that, but I mean, to say anything of the least, even a distance away, catching this in your headlights, to see something like that would just be fascinating. It's probably terrifying in some ways for others. So think about this. How big was this creature? 12 foot, 13 foot, to have strides that far apart from one side of the road to get to the other side of the road. That's just remarkable. So these are things that are coming out of Ohio stories. I often wonder too, in some of these occurrences when people are out, and Dave and I even talked about this in the past. I mean, this is kind of like their homestead. We go out, we go camping and stuff, or even in the rural areas. There's a road there. I get it. It's for us, but I guess we're sharing it with something else. Um, and then we go into these areas to just like have peace and quiet and serenity and walk and observe, whether you watch birds, and then the possible interaction of one of these giants. And there are giants too, to some degree too. It's a different term or technical term of species. So people are reporting an abundance of a lot of things, but Bigfoot stands out the strongest for what is, really, and from 2020 to this now, like 2019 even. But it seems that people are more aware and having more sightings. So I'm just trying to share some of those with you guys. All right, I got another one here. Okay, this one came in from Lillian. A group of 10 Forest Service fire professionals, including herself, were dispatched to a fire a few years ago in the Oregon thick, brushy, remote area. When they arrived, they were told to proceed to the top of the steep ridge. At their destination, they were told to hang out, wait for further instructions on our placement on the fire. As we awaited, I walked around the area a bit and, like, basically in anticipation. And that's what she's saying. She just so happened to look down and what looked to be a huge partial footprint and could see a distinctive toe print. I told the others, and they came over and looked, and some agreed, and a couple jokingly said, I made the print myself. Well, a few minutes rolled by, and we were ordered back down the hill to be sent to another fire. As we reached our vehicle, there was a big commotion, so we stopped to find out what was going on. The crew leader said a 20-person Apache fire crew was above the south of us, saw a Bigfoot, and came running down and jumped into their rigs and left. So people out working fires, in the thicket, in the woods, in the wilderness. Just a few stories here of, Ohio and more. So, now we have Janice, who also posted, hello, friends. I wanted to share my experience with you all. This was about 11 years ago. My sister and I went to Los Angeles Forest with, I think that she's calling these dogs Weimaners or something like that. Very smart dogs. I don't even know how to pronounce this dog, this breed of dog. It's crazy, but that's okay. It's important, the fact, because Bigfoot. What can I say? So they're very smart dogs. She was about 5 months pregnant. We took the easiest trail during the walk. I felt like someone was following us. Here and there, someone seems to be throwing little rocks and pebbles. We thought it was just teenagers around throwing rocks and, just being negative, I guess. So it got dark. They both headed back, and we felt the presence again, but much closer at this time. As we walked, uh, we found a coyote skull, just a skull, and it was like crushed. You could see it died from one big blow to the head. No human being would be able to kill an animal with one hit. It got creepy. So we hurried back down the path and wandered off when all of a sudden the whole forest became still, and we hear knocking on trees from one side of us and the forest then to the other. So I guess there might have been a possibility of two Bigfoots there or two somethings there, of course, doing tree knocks. She claims she knew it was him. So instinctively, she knew it was Bigfoot. And she says that clearly here. There was more than one because of the tree knocking. As I just said, the dogs stayed close. They felt him too. So I guess the sense of how the dogs were acting in this encounter, they understood that there was something there that they didn't understand, or they just pick up in a way that we don't. They were no longer playing. They would just look around, no barking, nothing. I stopped to look around to see if she could make sight of anything, but he is the king of hide and seek, and that is the truth. You know, she hits the nail on the head there. They are the king of hide and seek on us, aren't they? In the forest, they just blend so well, camouflage so well, and then again, there may be that they're interdimensional. They can cross between dimensions, and this is the part that we don't understand about them. So it's pretty fascinating. There was a scent I recognized from when I was in the forest when I was a little girl. It was confirmed that it was him. So I guess she's going by the smell that people claim to smell. But I get it explained to me in stories quite different than other things that I've talked about with people. And I've talked to quite a few people. And even like Dave, I pushed the narrative, the man that lives amongst them. And I'm not saying that to be rude in any way. He comes out and he says, hey, I'm living with him. And I don't have any reason to disbelieve him. He's explained how living with them, near them, amongst them has been. So, when you talk to a couple people that have the same type of scenario and certain things perfectly match and sync, it makes you wonder. It just really does on how it works. But the smell thing, it's come to me in different ways of explanations. Some by the smell of like very dirty wet horse versus skunky fishy, like a combination of the two. So I'm just sharing that part, and this is part, I guess, what she wants, but she was familiar with it. The smell was similar to the smell of ferrets, as she's explaining, and they were not fixed. So I guess that has more to do with it, and that's how she felt about it. And also, our bodies feel vibrations. So was she having like some sort of panic thing, or was something actually affecting her out there while they were out that evening? So it's the possibilities of things here. And again, it helps. So I hope you enjoyed some of the little short stories on that part there of what I was getting into. Now, as far as UFOs and missing planes and 411, and 411 is something that I really want to deep dive into with everybody because there's so much out there on 411 that now even the gentleman who came up with the 411 narrative, a detective, um, in his mind believes that Bigfoot could be a party to the whole scenario, as well aliens the possibility that there are alien abductions. Is the possibility great enough for us to maybe even put together that the facts could be that they work with them, that they both have similar capabilities, and that's why they can do what they do. Bigfoot manipulates us, and infrasounds and all the other things telepathic in a way, like they know what your next move will be. They know when you're in fear because they can sense you. And let's face it, other animals can sense fear from a human being. So we couldn't just count that totally out, because the bottom line is we don't have one of these captive. We don't have one that we can sit down and have dinner with. So we have to just assume things at this point by how everybody's interactions and experiences are and how we base them. So, yeah. But anyway, so these things are just cool. So I thought I'd touch base on a little bit of everything tonight and see if you guys have any thoughts. Now, I'm going to be going through here. I want to check thoughts again. Charlie's on. He's putting up aliens. He's putting up Christmas trees. Dag. Carrie, I hope I'm not disappointing you. Some of these guys that are in tonight were really helping me out in the groups today, getting some things established and whatnot. I also want to, put out an apology to some of the groups out there today on my abrupt leaving some of them. But, if I'm creating an uncomfortableness for somebody, I just feel it's better for me to stand back and observe from far. And I took that as an exit. Doesn't mean I'm gone forever, but right now it's just the best thing to do. And I want to send apologies out if anybody thinks that I would not support them and not be a true patriot to the United States of America the best I can. I mean, I've literally put a lot of effort into what I talk about. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm doing this platform just as a format of entertainment versus, talking to Big P, government issues and the administration and more. It wasn't that. When I feel that there's a contaminant or an environment that's toxic for me, I'm going to step back. I'm going to step back. And, doesn't mean I'm going to lose love for anybody there, and I'm not going to judge anybody for it. I won't write nothing or post nothing out there that's going to be negative. I want everybody to succeed and have a great time with whatever it is they're doing. I really do. So I apologize to anybody, if I left abruptly. I just felt the comfort in doing it, and I just wanted to put that out there with clarity, that you have my sincerest apologies. I'm not going anywhere. Everybody knows how to find me. All I do is put time into people, their thoughts, I talk about many things, many, many, many things. All right, so let me just reflect back here and see. Watching. It's not really saying, but this thing keeps freezing tonight. I should go over to my other screen and bring it over next to me. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. I heard up in Canada, some of my friends up in Canada got in touch with me today. And Rosa, I think you were on earlier talking. I'm not sure. Hello to you. Cheryl up in Canada, 50 inches of snow last night. They were expecting 100, but they have like wind drifts. But she was expressing to me that they had to deal with wind drifts and everything else, like 50 inches and a little more, maybe a little less in some areas. But think of that feat, going out and shoveling. And these are women up there shoveling. They must be strong as bulls, I am bull, walk back. Yes, there, whatever you say. But no, that's awful lot of snow, man. So John just jumped into the room. Anybody share any comments? What's on your minds tonight? Does anybody want to call in, have a little conversation? I'll be glad to do it. I also want to, make time if I can about talking about some of these missing planes. A plane, one of the things I want to bring up about these UFO things, some of these planes out there are water purpose planes. They can come and go from water. How do they go missing out over water? They have the capabilities of floating, but they just vanish. They vanish. And there's many reports of stuff like this. Now, not all of them that have vanished, but they're out there. They just don't share it. And then you get into like this, one of these real fascinating stories up in Canada. I have a guest coming on next Sunday night. We're going to be talking about exactly these. Cheryl, she's a ufologist. She's going to come in and talk with me about this for a couple hours. Basically we're talking about motherships that are so huge. I mean, up to a mile long. And our government even has documentation to some of these occurrences. And there's something going on here. It's coming out more and more every day. We're in a different kind of enlightenment. I'm not telling anybody to just absorb this and take it as fact. But there are a lot of facts out there. And our own government's saying now that there's something there. You have the Vatican preparing to start helping people to understand how religion should be changed. Because it has to do with aliens. And not only that, they're putting formats of people together to try to help people with any social anxiety of what they're going to probably try to disclose to us, whether it's a narrative of corruption versus a narrative of truth. But I think we're underlying truth here pretty well as a fact, because we didn't do what we did in the past 100 years without help. There's no way in hell. Even with all Tesla's inventions and more, and credibility and Einstein and some of these people that were able to, get us into like futuristic parts, it all came from crash retrievals as well. And we had a couple rock stars out there who were feeding what was taken from the worst crashes, parts that were in 100% perfectly good shape, and then reverse engineered. And that's how we learned about certain softwares and communication devices. And if you really look at it, how far we were ahead, even with Tesla. People don't really believe this, but we had phones since 1901 that were like cellular, and there was remote. Tesla, honest to gosh. But not even that. If you go into, and you look at historically, and on all these carvings in Egypt and Jerusalem and more, and this, you got the Sphinx and all these temples and stuff. When you walk in them, you see these little, they look like helicopters and planes, and people have made them, tested them, and they work. So I'm just saying, there's a phone kind of on the wall as well, and a cellular phone. That's a true fact. Also, there's been testimony and documentation of people in the government who came forth that talked about very soon you will have these things. And yeah, so how far ahead are we really into this future in America? How far is technology ahead with this huge jump? Because we don't see it until after the government feels that they put it to its utmost use. They took the product of whatever they had in their hands and got it to the best possible place it could ever be. Well, I say give it to one of these hillbillies out there in Texas or down in Virginia. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude here. But hey, listen, some guys come up with some of the seriously great stuff from stuff people abandoned. So maybe when the government's done with it, if some of these guys get their hands on it, they can figure out a different method for it and give it a different enlightenment. All right, hold on 1 second here. Good hearing. I did catch some of it, but I did need to share it on all my pages, in which I can the rest of it later. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Rosa. So I got some people checking in with Messenger that hit me back on other platforms too. Carrie said she'll be in. I believe she was. Beth McCord was responding. Loretta, yeah, wow. She's the Whistler. She's crazy. And I'm not in a bad way. What she comes up with is, she does all this arts and music stuff. It's all political. She's constantly being barred all over the platforms, just like Lucy used to do and still does. Protect yourselves out there. We need you guys in the groups. And we do have Taking Back America back up and running. I don't know if we're getting all the posts. They were suppressing posts. Some people complain, why aren't you posting? Well, if I got it, I'd do it. In other words, they're extracting before we can even allow the post to go through. So we're just trying to dot our I's, cross our T's. We did do some preventive maintenance in that particular room and Studio 10 broadcasting. And I'm not trying to just, in that room, 10 o'clock talks, it's a broadcaster's room. I ain't going to lie to anybody. I'm not going to pull no shit with you guys. I have to be honest with you. I'm trying to promote good professionalism of people with voice on platforms out there who are being suppressed the best they can. But, please feel free to join and indulge yourself. We do cleanups now every 10 days, 7 to 10 days. The reason for the cleanups is they can't go back far, although they'll figure out a way to go back far. I've been pre-warned by a couple people. Even if you get rid of it, they're going to go back and they're going to tell you it was there 7 months ago and it was a violation. And I get it, but at least we're trying the best we can. Everyone that's involved here trying to remove and extract the things that we can do. So the volunteers and the girls are always great. They're rock stars. They really are. Charlie, what do you got to say tonight? You're being pretty quiet, brother. And Charlie just came back. So, he's under AKA. He's lost a lot of his friends. You should reach out to him if you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let me see where else I got. Okay, so those prints. I had a notation here, and I couldn't remember with clarity if I talked about them. But a set of Bigfoot prints or skunk ape was posted on Outcast Paranormal. Now, and again, that's what that whole paranormal thing. Okay, the unknown. Isn't everything unknown paranormal? Am I judging this wrong? Because my apologies if I am. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to format information out there the best we can so we can talk about more interesting topics, and I can try to extract and pull some people and professional people who can sit and talk and be informative on many levels. And that's the whole narrative of why I'm heading in that direction, for the direction of it. Again, it doesn't matter if it's a skinwalker. And if anybody watches that show, do you think I mean, in my mind, um, there's a lot of truth behind what they're finding out there. We're seeing evidence of things right on film, and some of the problems, like with Project Blue Book, they even removed that. Like they were getting too focused into the mainstream of the truth, and all of a sudden, it has large numbers watching the show, and then all of a sudden, it's just gone. It's like there's too much information getting leaked out too fast. I can understand that. And that's kind of what archaeology is about too, like when it comes to the giants and different races of the Nephilim. Like a lot of people don't realize, I think there was um, two races of the Nephilim, actually. I think the second one was pronounced Rathalium. I'd have to double check on my notes, but I've read that before in a couple of really good books. That when we speak about this all and the possibility that we were engineered and messed with our DNA to basically who these people are, we're aliens, as in some ways, please don't take this the wrong way, could possibly who people were reflecting as being gods. That doesn't mean that Jesus and the Bible and certain chronicles of things and informations there aren't true. But what I'm saying is, this is like the structure of how it comes into play. But I also know that there's Adam and Eve, and I'm not trying to create a cross reference that's terrible. And I'm just stating what is in the writings. And then you have to go across the whole board format too, and that's the other thing. So many different cultures of so many different countries all have very, very, very similar writings. Now they're all not exact, and they all reflect to a different name of a different god, of a different source, of a different high, but very similar. Many of the stories reflect upon, and you get into the very ancient stuff. I'd like to do a story on that one night and see if everybody would like to chill on that thing. Although you don't have to listen to me do it. I mean, there's things across the board on TV. And I think as long as they're not trying to falsify some type of show, like the Kardashians, exaggerating the scenarios of shows and more. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right, so it doesn't look like I'm getting any real comments tonight, but everybody's in the group listening. Are you guys there? I'm going to send you guys all a thumbs up, because usually I'm hearing some conversation, and I'm not against not hearing it. That's perfectly fine. It's a Sunday night. I mean, what do you guys got going on? I'm here where I am. That's the way I look at it. All right, Charlie. They took my groups off. Yes, Charlie. Yeah, let's talk about that just for a minute. Talk about a conspiracy with Facebook. But listen, if you really want to listen to something that's pretty fascinating, how do they pronounce Facebook's new name? Is it Meta? Okay, something like that. It almost sounds like they were trying to reflect to what is said even in the Bible, what the angels ate. Okay, now you remember, there was 40 years out in the desert, and they used this type of machine that was making food and whatnot, and that's what they said the angels eat have the same source of. That's these angelic angel beings would also eat the same thing. So I just thought I'd throw that out there to you. I have a whole thing, trove of information on that. I wish I wouldn't have brought it up, but at the same time, when I hear Facebook and that, I'm hearing like, is this reflecting to some type of clue? Think about it, because are they saying that alien angels, meta, food, source, get it? So when you look into the meaning of the words, food source, are they telling us it's about a source and it reflects to what's in the Bible and then reflects to the angels, the angelics of sort, or spirit beings? So anyway, it's just a possibility. Why'd they pick that name? All right, so Charlie, they took my groups off. My page was gone. lost all the pictures. It wasn't backed up. It's like China Facebook. Fakebook. Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Oh, and David Parker stepped in just for a minute. So hello to David Parker tonight. Um, and in case you forgot in any way, David and I do a narrative on Wednesday nights on the Dark Radio Network project where we talk Bigfoot, and we do that on Wednesday nights. Sunday nights is a little different. Dave has stepped in and been a rock star about it, kept me company on, and brought a lot of information and to help me out a couple times. I don't know, whatever it's been, and I just appreciate him so much. But again, when I get into deep dive politics, and I never know when I will, if I'm talking to somebody, I tend to go into it really hard, and I don't want to irritate a room, especially if the programming is being shared to a room that's represented by Bigfoot only, UFO only, paranormal only, conspiracy only, and then here I am ranting and raving about this other stuff because I got to give people the right to choose, because people aren't getting that today. Okay. And I don't want to stay too focused into this, but the possibility is that's the issue. And I don't want to overstep and step on people's toes when they have welcomed me into a group and share scenario for the program formatting and stuff. So we got to think of the people in the group and what they want to hear and what they support, because that's the whole reason. Format is, it's purposed for a targeted area, and I targeted to it. I have to show respect to get close to the truth, and they censor it. Yeah, well, there's Dave's right there for sure, and that's the whole narrative of America. But it's not even just that. It doesn't matter what it is that they have their hands in. If it's something that their hands are involved in, the deep state, the military industrial complex, is this politics? Yeah, in a way, but it doesn't fit the narrative of Crazy Joe and the lunatics right now. But it does reflect the whole and all the administrations all the way up through the narrative of it all, what they hide and suppress. And again, what you think you learned in school wasn't really what they could have taught us. They could have taught us so much more. Maybe we'd have had a whole different interest to school and college and more. And maybe more people would have had a better vibe. But, the government didn't do it. The Reagans tried to fight it. They really did. Nancy Reagan was like the leader of this whole thing. What a rock star she was. No child left behind. And she wanted better education and the truth to be exposed, and it on many things. And it never came out. And I truly believe that she always theorized in her mind, without a doubt, and she did, was give them the information, because the public needs to learn and know about it, because true education is education. Suppressed education is not an education. And now we're going to remote learning. That's what they want to do. They want to take us into remote learning. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. So yeah, but we're going to get Charlie Walsh's groups built back up. We're going to get people to go over, visit with him. He knows he's welcome on everything that I do to try to help him get some strength and gain it. But, Charlie, just reach out to everybody out there the best you can and try to share. So does anybody have a good ghost story? Anybody want to come on live and talk? I'll be glad to put the phone number up and let you guys come in. Anybody want to make any comments? Please do it. I'm all up for it. It's Sunday night late. Let's make it your show. What do you guys want to talk about? Somebody throw something out there. I did some stories on Bigfoot. I've talked some UFO stuff about the carrier up in Canada, which I'm going to be talking about this upcoming Sunday. And I'm doing a lot of what's called the mega ships. Some call motherships. Some say mega ships. But I want you to understand something. There is definitely things out there in place when it comes to gravity. And let's talk about submarines for one, just for a real quick narrative. Now, they do work with what's called the bubble science, okay? Air, compressed air, release of air, uprise, whatnot. But they also work with gravitational equipment. And we know that they are now repurposing large carrier ships as well as submarines. No joke. Okay, truth. and they're repurposing them for space ventures. And if you go back into the space program, everybody thinks, oh, this is something that just happened. It didn't. No. Kennedy started the space program. Okay. And actually, it was kind of, sort of, in routes and ways already there. But then that was the formal announcement. And Kennedy wanted the world to know. And he wanted the other leaders to know about certain things and aspects that had taken place in America and the informations that were out there. And, the guy just wanted to do the best he could for the people. And again, he was one of our leaders of America who tried to make a difference. And we all know that outcome with sadness. Waving back to Carrie. Nobody's really coming up with anything here. Come on, folks. Sunday night, anything goes. All right, let me do this. I'll take a little twist of turn here. Don't leave. Don't you dare leave. All right. I can do it a different way because, yeah, I know, not supposed to smoke. And I've been exercising. I've been eating right. I had a really big salad tonight, so I know a lot of people out there have concerns for everybody. And you're right. I'm working on it. I promise you, I really am. I have slowed down a lot, and that doesn't mean it's done or over with, but I have. And I thank you for your support. All right. So America Disclosing Uncensored. We only have 211 members. I find that fascinating, to be honest with you, because, the unknown is like such a fantastic area of information. It truly, truly is. They posted the government repair kit. I don't know. So I posted a picture of people want to know. I can't remember what they call that thing. I want to post it for you tomorrow. That dog-like looking creature. Let me get more into some of the things here. I don't know if anybody knows this, and I'm going off the platform here. Now, this is what gets me in trouble when I'm doing other platforms. But in 1971, there was an underground attack on the U.S. Capitol and a bomb attempt to violently overthrow the United States government. Okay. So on March 1st, 1971, there was an occurrence of an actual, what they call, insurrection. Again, people fighting back America and the government. I don't know. Conspiracy or truth? Well, it is a true fact. It's all based truly upon how you want to base it. Then you have George Carlin, of course, rock star, critical theorist. I mean, he laid it out, and he didn't lie about anything he said. Everything that he said worked out to be true. I'm just going through some of these. So we talked about how bears, how tall they are, and Bigfoot and all that. Me and Dave covered some of that stuff for you guys before. And it looks like that the Bigfoot, the males at least, can be about like 125 pounds per foot. So do the math and think about a 12-footer. What's it add up to? Just incredible. It's incredible. Underwater submersibles. Big theories on all that in many ways about areas, 3 to 4 locations in the world and in the Great Lake regions as well, that where we talk about a lot of these crafts coming right and going right into the water and just traveling at speeds underwater. It's like whatever they're using, whether it's the anti-gravity units that they put in place or more, I don't know. But does it even push like water away? Is this why they can turn and maneuver the way they can? They manipulate the atmosphere and the pressures of the weights of the gravities to where we and our planes don't have this. Although, and we may in fact have it. But the bottom line is this. Our normal jet fighters get up here. We can't make these movements and these speeds. We would die from it, and we know that. They can't. So is somehow these crafts manipulating the whole atmosphere that we understand and know is there. And somehow in this shell or triangle or so on and so forth, whatever shape ship it is, cigar, cylindrical, that word, technology, TikTok, tic tac, whatever, the truth is they can do it. So did they disrupt it all in some way that maybe there's people, a human race in it, and they can just do it because the whole outside is like a protective shell of our atmosphere, and they can manipulate through it because of whatever it is that they have in anti-gravity and more. So is it electromagnetical or mercury? And is it element 115, Bob Lazar? And one of the other things too that also fascinates me that I want to talk about, and I think it's something that needs to be spoken about. Roger Lear, he was a doctor. I think he performed around 17 surgeries where he took out transmitters out of people. Yes, transmitters, not a joke. Now, he's no longer with us, but we know he did it. He was filmed doing it. And in some cases, when he went to remove these objects under people's skin, because they couldn't figure out what was under their skin, but it always seemed like people had some kind of encounter. Now, this is true to fact. And it was public showings, okay? These were in public view on shows where Roger Lear himself, and they're probably on YouTube, was removing these transmitter tracking devices. But it's also said, once they know, the others, the visitors, the observers, the watchers, angels, aliens, angelics, humans, whatever these people are, once they know your DNA, there's a frequency mode to it. They can find you anywhere, even without that transmitter. But they were finding these transmitters, and they were actually like what we're talking about here that's inside this devil's juice that everybody's refusing. It was smart technology in bodies for years, and they would know to move. So when he would go to get it, to remove it, it would actually move its location on its own. But they would get them all and sometimes struggle with it. So what are they? Who's tracking people? Who's putting them in? And in some cases, there's not even a place that you can observe of scar tissue or any type of scarring where the implant was done or from where. Sometimes it's in the wrist area. Sometimes it's in the toe area. Always on one side as well. Always on one side. So that was Roger Dr. Lear. Rock star, out there, ufologist and more. And I don't know where these objects are now. I don't know if his family's keeping them. If the government has came into play in some way, the men in black, I don't know. We're not hearing anything about this. And I think this is really a questionable topic that's never gotten to the bottom of. Who in the hell was putting these things in people, and how were they getting there? Or were people born with them? And listen, they look like little things that were of design. I'll put it to you that way, the best way I can. And they actually had like little, not legs, but in some cases, like they attach. It's just weirdness. So if I can find something credible enough to put up where you can watch a video, I will, in America Disclosing, Uncensored. So that's really crazy good thing. I also want to say, if anybody hasn't looked at that mind-blowing speech by Robert Welch that he did in 1958 of the insider's plan to destroy America, you may want to look at that. Again, this group that I try to put out here for you is about conspiracy, the unknown, the elements of how things fit, where we are in today, how everything in history could make things better for us if we just had the need to know, which we do. Right? We do. It should be all shared upon with humanity. Discoveries are very important. That went on quick, by the way. So I thought I'd share some of the things out of here. I got a lot of stuff in here too. I wish you guys would take a look. Differences between aliens and angels. Yeah, I mean, please take your time to take a look in there. I'd appreciate it. It's work. It's navigating people through proofs and structures of where we are in this world and what's going on in it. No doubt about that. So we had some good viewings. I want to say that Friday night went well. We fell a little bit on the dark radio network, but it is people are being sick. There's a lot of things going out there, and so forth, and we know that's happening. People are just social anxiety, and that's not going any. Mini robots, yeah, isn't that the future, huh? I mean, we have little flying machines out there. I mean, God, they have so many ways to attack us. It's unbelievable where we are. The future, it's technology, it's bizarre. It's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, this is Sunday night. Nobody really wanted to come on and give any type of talk. Nobody asked for the number to be posted. So I guess everybody's in their own mindset tonight, and that's great. So this is America Disclosing Uncensored, part of the Dark Radio Network project. Sunday nights, we like to talk about it. I hope it grows. I hope it grows with you. The winter's going to be long. You bring your topics in, man. Talk to me. I'll put the number up there. Call in. Tell us your story. If you got to share it, a story to share, please share it with us, and we'll post it. I'll be back on Wednesday night. I also have an intermediate to do. I also have something to do with Jonathan Garcia out of Georgia. He's running for governor down there, so something's happening with that, and I'm going to reach out to him. I talking about being suppressed. I guess he sent me something yesterday morning at 9:00 or 8:30, and I didn't get it till 5:23 this evening. So I don't. We always have issues when we try to go live with Jonathan. I also with Richard Scott too. People who know too much information, they try to cut your voice. It seems to go that way. But I want to thank you guys for stepping in, standing. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope some of the conversation thoughts that I had tonight, came across in a good way for everybody. So, stay strong, eat healthy, of course. Remember Wildly Well 21, Ted's wife down there, Miss Nugent, and all them products. May not be for everybody, but check them out. Health and Varieties, a bunch of other things. We also have a lot of great businesses out there in America. If you need some help with products, get a hold of Nancy Vincent and send it to her, and she'll get it promoted through a page. Also, yes, that we have through the studio here on American-made products. Please get with it. We try to cover all the narratives and all the angles in support of America. Also, there's a young lady out there. I'm not trying to get into nobody's pockets with greed in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of like a GoFundMe account where a family went through some very devastating things. If you see it, please share it around. Maybe someone can really step up the bat and help her out. She shared it again with me tonight, and I understand why. The medical bills, the funerals have been so absorbent. And we're all in deep places, dark places. So supports everything. Part of what our group is here is to try to support your voice, most importantly, and anything we can do to try to help you or get somebody to help you in your neighborhood. If we got to reach out and touch somebody because you need food or something from the store and somebody can help you. I've done these things. I've got on phones and made calls to people and got somebody a loaf of bread and milk. Believe me, things like this do happen, and they can work as long as we're all working together. So I hope you guys enjoy the formats. They're a little different. Again, there's people out there moving out of some of the narratives of groups, going into other groups where they are enlightened in, and they want to have success and their own peace of mind, and they deserve to have that. They truly, truly deserve it. Everybody deserves a good world to grow up, grow old in, and to live in. And, that means the world to me, and I hope it does for you, because that's the fabric of how I tick behind this, even when I'm using potty mouth, foul language. I mean, you got to release, don't judge me. I will never judge you. She needs to start. I think she did. I tried to share it. Let me do this real quick because maybe I'm doing something wrong here. This is a sweetheart. I'm not joking. This young lady's from Pittsburgh. I can just tell you that. She's a rock star. She's in our groups. She lost, oh my God, so many family members. And then a tragic accident happened, I think, at the funeral with the kids on a motorcycle going to just, it's been a bizarre case of unfortunate stuff. Anyway, let me look here, man, because maybe I did something wrong. I thought I put it up. Let me look her up and send it to Beth, because Beth knows how to work this stuff better than I do. And she really needs help. She's reaching out. They're at the end of their rope. I just sent it to Beth. I'm going to send it to Carrie. If anybody can help me get this posted out there for this young lady, her name is Eva Dickinson. I'm sorry, Dixon. Why did I say that? I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize, Eva. Anyway, she's a rock star, good human being. I kid you not. She's went and helped people. She really has. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, and it truly, truly is. I just want you to know that. Anyway, also follow and share as best you can. Get us out into the public, because we're, I don't know if some groups just aren't seeing our post, but it seems our post following, even though we have 300 shares to go out, only 100 of them are getting actually allowed to be floated out. So I'm asking for a little inside help from you guys to get it to where you can. Now, remember, the playing grounds of our own groups, it's in there. If you can expand it out into this world on the Friday night 10 o'clock talks and the America in Crisis that I do on Wednesday, that would really help a great, great deal. So keep that in mind for me. I appreciate it. All right. So I did get it shared. I don't know how to bring it to share it into this. I really don't. I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't know how to do it. Saddens me that I can't do it. I also want to send out a hello to Rich Lopez. Thank you for all your help and all the things that you send me. Charlie Walsh, you do the same things. I appreciate you. So many people that stand by. Eddie Parker, you're a rock star. I don't want to forget anybody. Jeannie Kelly-Jory, I haven't seen her in forever, and she showed up in the room one night. Hello to you, Jeannie, in case she hears this. And if she doesn't, I get it. It's fine. So anyway, let me just go back into that group thing here, because it's kind of important. I don't know if I got that. You guys can let me know if you got it, if we can post it in our groups or put it out across through to the Patriots or anybody. It would greatly be appreciated. All right, you guys take care. Have a great night. Thank you for everything you do. And I truly mean that. Share us to wherever you can. Take us off Facebook. Put us in your YouTube group or your Gab, or it doesn't matter. Get us posted out there. We'll get stronger together in numbers and more. You know how that works. Suppression does tie your hands, no matter how much time you put in effort. So if it reaches one person, we're all doing our job. Oh, that's a long road to travel on when you have 300 million people we need to get to out there strongly, right? You can agree with that, I'm sure. So this is Michael Anthony. Again, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. God bless you too, Charlie. I do mean that. I do mean that. And all you groups out there who send your support, thank you so much. Terry Anderson, you're a rock star. I believe in you, brother. I did talk to Terry just to let you know he's doing well. Rich Lopez, we got you, brother. We'll fight for liberty. I know it. 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 Get that room set up. We got work to do. And yeah, I mean, really, we'll do that. But Terry's on fire. He's on fire. And watch for Terry if you can. And I'll be sharing some of his segments out to everybody. You'll be wanting to know more about Terry. He's coming to get ya. Take care, guys. Have a great night. Thank you.